You render a 15-second clip with Hailuo H3, run the exact same prompt through Seedance 2.0, and one bill is nearly 6 times higher than the other. Hailuo H3 is Minimax's open-weight audio native model, and Seedance 2.0 is ByteDance's polished 4K studio tool, so the real question is which one earns your budget. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Test 1 is cost per generation, and this one matters fast if you're building a content pipeline that needs hundreds of clips a month, because at the wrong price per second, that bill spirals before you notice. Hailuo H3 comes in at roughly 13 cents per second at 2K, and Seedance 2.0 has a fast tier sitting at about 2 cents per second. So watch what happens when you scale that up. I pulled the per second rates across both platforms, and Seedance 2.0's fast tier is 6 times cheaper than Hailuo H3's community reported 13 cents. Keep in mind that Hailuo H3 pricing is community reported rather than official, so treat it directionally, but the gap is still pretty hard to ignore. A 15-second clip runs about $1.41 on Seedance 2.0 versus roughly $1.95 on Hailuo H3. Seedance 2.0 takes cost, and it's not subtle. 6 times cheaper on the fast tier is a real gap that compounds every single render, and I expected the delta to be smaller than it turned out to be. Numbers put Seedance 2.0 on the board first, so that's 1-0. I've been deep inside both of these tools long enough to get burned by that cost gap personally, so trust that these numbers are real. Have you hit this pricing problem in your own workflow? Drop it in the comments. Test 2 is coding benchmark performance, and you might be asking whether Hailuo H3 or Seedance 2.0 can help you write or evaluate code. Maybe you want to automate part of a dev workflow. Or you've seen other AI tools score on coding benchmarks, and you're wondering where these two land. That's a fair question, so let's address it directly before moving on. I couldn't find a published figure for either model on coding, and that's because neither Hailuo H3 nor Seedance 2.0 is built for it. They're video generation models, full stop, so there's no benchmark data on either side, and the score stays where it is. No winner here. Both models sit this one out completely, so the score stays 1-0 Seedance 2.0 with one dimension skipped. Test 3 is generation speed, and if you're on a deadline, you need to know roughly how long to block off while a render runs. If one tool gives you a 4-minute wait and the other gives you nothing to plan around, that's a real workflow problem. The question is whether either model actually publishes a number you can count on, or whether you're just guessing. Seedance 2.0 clocks an average render time of about 280 seconds per Max Video AI's data, and Hailuo H3 has no comparable published speed figure at all. So directionally, Seedance 2.0 wins on transparency alone because at least you know what you're waiting for. The fast tier scores a 7.4 on speed versus the standard tier's 8.8, so there's a trade-off inside Seedance's own lineup too. Seedance 2.0 takes speed because a real published number beats no number every time. I didn't expect that to be the deciding factor, but that's the data. And it puts Seedance 2.0 up 2-0 with one dimension still skipped. Okay, so Seedance 2.0 is ahead right now, but the next two tests are on output limits and deployment. And those are the dimensions where your actual production setup either fits or it doesn't. If you need longer clips, local weights, or expressive audio, the score could look very different by the end of this. Test 4 is context and output limits, and if you're cutting a scene that needs to run longer than 15 seconds, or you want to feed in 9 reference images, plus a few video clips, a tool that caps out before your project does means you're stuck re-editing or stitching clips manually. Both models accept 9 images, 3 videos, and 3 audio references, but the clip length story is different. I went through the spec sheets, and here's the split. Both tools cap at 15 seconds natively and accept the same reference counts, so that part is dead even. But Hailuo H3's Extend tool pushes clips to roughly 30 seconds, while Seedance 2.0 stops hard at 15, and on resolution, Seedance 2.0 hits 4K, where Hailuo H3 tops out at 2K. The split here is genuine. Seedance 2.0 wins on resolution, and Hailuo H3 wins on clip length. So which one matters more? Really depends on your output format. But if you're delivering for screens where 4K isn't required and you need longer takes, Hailuo H3's Extend tool is the practical edge that changes your edit. Hailuo H3 takes limits because doubling clip length to 30 seconds is a more workflow-changing advantage than a resolution bump. Most pipelines don't actually need yet, and that brings the score to 2-1 Seedance 2.0 with 1 dimension skipped. Test 5 is deployment and modality. You want to run a video model locally with no API calls, no rate limits, no data leaving your machine, and you find out your chosen tool is API only, with no open weights planned. That's a hard stop for anyone building a private pipeline or working in a regulated environment, so this test is about which model actually gives you that option. Side by side, Hailuo H3 has open weights announced for release, which means local deployment is a real option, while Seedance 2.0 is closed API only with no local path at all. And on top of that, Hailuo H3 adds a video-to-video editing mode and native stereo audio that the community calls more expressive, whereas Seedance 2.0 has native audio but no editing mode. Hailuo H3 takes deployment and modality. Open weights plus a built-in editing mode is a combination. Seedance 2.0 simply can't match right now, and that ties the score at 2-2 with 1 dimension skipped. Hailuo H3 wins on clip length because the Extend tool gets you to roughly 30 seconds, where Seedance 2.0 stops at 15. It wins on local deployment because open weights are announced, and Seedance 2.0 is API only. It wins on native stereo audio quality based on community reports, and it has a video-to-video editing mode built right in. Seedance 2.0 wins on price. That fast tier runs about 6 times cheaper than Hailuo H3's rate, and that gap is real at any volume. It wins on resolution with 4K on the standard route versus Hailuo's 2K cap. It publishes an average render time of about 280 seconds, so you can actually plan around it. And it runs across more third-party platforms. If you need local deployment, longer clips, or expressive stereo audio, pick Hailuo H3. If you need the cheapest path to 4K at scale, Seedance 2.0 is your tool. 6 times cheaper per second is a number that's hard to argue with, but open weights change the game entirely for anyone who can't live inside a closed API. One thing worth knowing: Seedance 2.0's Pro tier jumps to 24.7 cents per second, which is actually 2 times more expensive than Hailuo H3's community reported rate. So if you accidentally route jobs to the Pro tier instead of fast, you flip the cost advantage completely. Check your tier setting before you batch anything. Alright, so now you know where Seedance 2.0 stands against Hailuo H3, but how does it hold up against Kling AI? I ran that comparison too, and the resolution and motion quality story gets way more interesting. So check out Seedance 2.5 versus Kling AI and see which one actually comes out on top for studio quality output.